G'day there guys, my name's Marky, and welcome back to some more stories from Reddit. I hope you enjoy. Am I the asshole for not cooking all my parents' meals while they were visiting me? For context, I live with my fiancé in a different country than my family. I haven't seen them in over a year, so my parents, 61 female and 63 male, offered to visit me, and I was beyond happy. They had very humble beginnings in a third world country, and this was their first time making an international trip. So I tried to make sure everything was perfect and went as smooth as possible. They came and spent about a month in our house. They had their own bed, their own bathroom, and I arranged for all of their necessities. And even though we're not rich, my fiancé and I tried to provide for them with everything so they wouldn't have to spend their money here with a currency as 5 times their own. About our eating habits. My fiancé and I have different schedules, different diets, etc., so we don't eat together. Whenever one of us is hungry, we go to the kitchen and make ourselves a plate of food, as we work from home. I explained this to my parents, and I also said that the kitchen is yours. Grab whatever you want and cook whenever you want. As time went on, we noticed that my parents weren't eating much, so I asked them what they wanted from the grocery store so that I could buy it for them. They said that everything was fine, that they were indeed eating while I was working. My mum is naturally peckish, so I thought that was just how she ate. I haven't lived with my parents in over 10 years, so I wouldn't know for sure. In any case, my fiancé brought my dad to the grocery store with him and told my dad, grab whatever you want, and he only grabbed a few items. Anyways, this went on pretty much the whole month, and every time I asked, they said that it was all fine. At some point, I started asking them out for dinner every day after work, which quite literally broke the bank, but at least I could see them eating. They left a few days ago, saying they loved their stay and that they had a blast. So to my surprise, my sister, 40 female, called me today ripping me a new asshole, saying that my parents told her that they had no food to eat, that there was no food in the fridge, and that they couldn't eat because it belonged to us, and that they had to keep making trips to the convenience store to buy food for themselves, and that they spent a lot of money. I couldn't believe my ears. I'm feeling totally blindsided by this. I thought they knew how to cook their own food, and if there was something missing, that they would have told me to buy. I took their word for it when they said that everything was fine and that they were eating. My sister says that I should have been more attentive to their needs and that I acted like I didn't give an F. So now I'm feeling bad, thinking my parents were miserable and starving the whole time, while I thought they were fine. I don't want to bring this up to my fiancé, as he will be devastated. He was genuinely trying the best he could to make my parents happy. Am I the asshole? What more could I have done? My head is spinning right now. Sorry for the long text. In the comments, did you see them go to the grocery store? OP says, thanks for reading this. Yes, the thing is, my dad smokes, so I just thought that he wanted to buy cigarettes. There's also a park nearby that my mum claimed she liked to go for walks, so I just assumed that that's what they were doing. I think you need to talk to them ASAP. Say exactly what your sister said and then ask why. Tell them you asked them many times. OP says, I tried, but nobody answers my calls. So yeah, feeling like a very shitty place to be right now. Info. So you all never had a cooked meal together at home in a month? And OP says, yes, we did have cooked meals together a few times, mostly on weekends when I had time to make something more elaborate. The biggest issue was during work days when there wasn't much time for me to cook, especially lunch. Info. This popped in my head because you say your parents are from another country. Is the food in your home drastically different? Is cookware different? The pots, pans, the oven, whatever. OP says, no, not at all. It's pretty similar, and they did know how to use my range, microwave, and I even taught them how to use the air fryer. Did you ask them if they were eating? OP says, I did ask. They would guarantee me that they ate XYZ, sandwich, eggs, pasta, and then said they cleaned the kitchen before I could see it. OP explains relationship dynamics to a downvoted commenter. I don't believe that we are from the same culture as the commenter based on some of your replies. If they weren't on the same page as me, then it's not cultural. Where I am from, family is family, and you can be yourself. There is no such thing as etiquette amongst parents and children. I mentioned I felt blindsided by my sister's call because I did feel that everything was fine and they reassured me that it was. So no, I don't know why they preferred junk food over the groceries in the fridge and pantry. Ms. Shea says, my in-laws are like this. When they come to visit, they are so out of sorts that even though we take them to the store and everything is the same, cooking in our kitchen is complicated and they can't do it. They get sick from the air here. They are hungry but don't want to be a bother or mess with anything. The water is different and upsets their stomach, etc., etc. My husband would beat himself up and then would bend over backwards, and now they're just at a breaking point because there are cultural barriers and age-related barriers that we can't seem to get through that have only increased with age. His sisters will call us when they are here and tell us the same things. We can take them to the store to get the exact coffee they drink at home, and they will say, no, they like ours, and then call his sisters and say they're getting sick because of our coffee. This may be a challenge because they are so uncomfortable outside of their norm, whether it is outside of the country, out of their home, or their environment, that they lose the capacity to be self-sufficient. You should try to talk with them, but keep in mind they may have some barriers and walls built that they need to realize or can't realize, especially if they're older and have not left their comfort zone most of their life. OP says, oh my god, thank you so much for this insight. I think you're absolutely correct. My dad has the terrible habit of complaining about everything. We took them to see literally one of the 7 wonders of the world, paid for a huge Airbnb, and his first comment was, oh, the clock on the wall is broken. I feel like there's nothing that I could do that would be enough. He'll always have something bad to say. Yeah, your comment helped me make sense of this situation, so thanks again. Genuinely just a cultural and age-related barrier where these parents refuse to communicate and be sane individuals. They refuse to be human. Like, what are you doing to yourselves? And then to ignore her and not pick up her phone calls when she's trying to, get through to them and be like, hey, what the hell's going on here? I'm gonna need an explanation. Let's talk this out, huh? Why are you talking shit to our sister, huh? I don't know if OP should feel bad about it. OP did everything they could and went above and beyond to make sure the parents were fed, making sure they're watching the parents eat food, buying them takeout every night. For them to still be complaining after all of that is disgusting, and maybe they deserve to starve after all of that actually. Maybe they should stay home and not come adventure and see the kids. If there are kids, If there are grandkids coming, like, no, you guys acted up last time, you're not coming to see them this time, screw you. And now, onto the update. Thank you so much for all the replies. I appreciate all insights. It was kind of funny to see how invested some of you got over my family drama, so that made me feel less down. Anyways, so I got a hold of my mum, who is the most level-headed family member, and asked her what they said that my sister had such a strong reaction to. Some of you were correct. My sister did blow this out of proportion, but also, my parents, particularly my dad, have strong feelings of inadequacy, which I never knew of, but I never thought would become the focus of it. Essentially, she said my dad felt like he didn't deserve any of the things that we were doing for them, hence why he chose junk food over the quality food that we provided. My dad has some self-hatred that was present my whole life. He is very overweight, he smokes, and he's also a functional alcoholic. Me and my partner are fitness-oriented people, so we paid for a monthly gym subscription for the both of them so we could all go together. They both said they wanted it, but my dad went a few times only. I did notice he was smoking a lot more than I remember, and he was also buying beers every week. But I guess it was his way of coping with whatever feelings that were triggered by his first international trip. Apparently, he never thought he would go anywhere. So it wasn't about the food. It was about my dad and his extreme inferiority complex that stopped him from enjoying his time and connecting with me, my partner, in my house, and my new reality. My mum did apologize on behalf of my sister, said she planned on talking to me, and regretted that she didn't, because of how my sister brought this issue to me. I don't know how to digest all of this, but yeah, I guess I have some therapy sessions ahead of me. Anyway, thanks for reading. In the comments, Education Tangelo 6 says, I had a parent like this. We are now no contact for different reasons, but she's a disability pensioner, and whenever she came to stay, it always became an issue because I happily paid for everything and tried to get her to put food in the trolley so that she could eat. She has many GI issues, but she refused. Then she would go home and moan to other family members about me feeding her things that I couldn't eat and taking her places that were too expensive, even though I was paying. It was just exhausting. I'm glad OP has a mother she could communicate with. Hopefully they can organize another trip in the future, which will go better because everything is out in the open now. And sis needs to shut her mouth and take a seat, that meddling nitwit. My husband's grandma was a drama queen in this regard too. The family was providing everything she asked for and everything she could need, even though she didn't ask for it. She was really well taken care of, but constantly complained to people that she was mistreated. Her signature move was going shopping during the worst weather possible. She wasn't going out most of the time, but when the weather hit stay home at all cost level, she always went shopping. Inevitably, people were shocked that someone elderly is out in this type of weather, they were helping her, and she was telling a sob story about being abused by her relatives, and she truly wasn't. She was just manipulative and feeding on people feeling sorry for her. She died because she was hiding her symptoms because she was certain that someone was poisoning her and she didn't want the person poisoning her to know that it was working. Least schizophrenic grandma. My enemies will not know the poison is working. My question is, how do you know this? She told her doctor when she was hospitalized, but it was too late. Karma is a nice little fairy sometimes. That's not karma, that's the impact of persistent, untreated mental illness, both the lying for attention and the dying of paranoid idiocy. Once again, I'm super thankful for my totally boring family. OP's parents sound exhausting, right? Hubby and I were both raised in families where you just talk to each other. I'm not saying our families of origin were perfect or drama-free, but holy shit. I read posts like this and think to myself, am I really that blessed that I not only love my family and in-laws, but actually like them as well? If only we were so lucky. Yes, yes, yes. You so super are. I've got a framed portrait of my parents that was taken not long after they married. It's now shoved behind some stuff on a shelf so I don't have to look at their faces. Even the talking parts never did any good. My mother never believed anything I said, even simple stuff like, I can't find this particular book that I want to read in the house, so I'm going to go to the library and find it there. Clearly, that was a lie for something nefarious and degenerate. No bookworm ever wants to go to the library for a book. It's true. You are going to go do drugs and steal from people and steal from shopping centers. Mother, I require a book. Shut up, rapscallion. I know your true intentions. You are going to go practice thievery within the town square. I have good word you will be caught and shipped off to Australia like the rap scoundrel you are. Most sane mother to exist. But yeah, back to the OP. Quite a tough situation, that one. And, it's good that the truth finally comes out about the father's inferiority complex. But damn, the drinking, the junk food eating, the aversion to really just anything to do with you, it seems like. That's a tough one. And at this point, he's so old that he may just be taking that to an early grave. To me, this is definitely one of those situations where, get some therapy, process what you can now, and then try and, build whatever bridge you can with that father, if you want to, before he does die. I don't want to be having any regrets, not even one letter, when they're on their deathbed, and when I'm on my deathbed. I want to be able to enjoy life with them as much as possible until such time. I hope everything goes well for you in the future, OP. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Our next post is by a throwaway account, titled, Am I wrong for not telling my ex about my miscarriage? So my ex-boyfriend, 26 male, and I, 22 female, were dating for about 3 years until I found out that I was pregnant. That's when he decided that things are moving too fast, I don't want this anymore. To make a long story short, he wound up kicking me out of our apartment. I moved in with my mum and I blocked him on everything, and I started contemplating abortion. I was just thinking to myself, why bring a child into a broken home, you know? Why would I want my firstborn to have a father that never wanted them? But when it came down to going through with it, I just couldn't. I don't know why. I can't explain the feeling I had, but I decided to keep it. This all happened in May. However, on June 11th, I miscarried. I don't want to get into the details of the miscarriage, but I had an ectopic pregnancy. When this happened, I did consider calling my ex to let him know, but I was afraid of the response because I knew that it would be along the lines of, bullet well dodged, so I just didn't. My thought process was, he didn't want it anyway, so why would he care? I stayed with my goddess of a mum, and she helped me through everything because she's had miscarriages as well and knew everything that I was feeling. I love her. Fast forward to 2 days ago, I got a call from an unknown number. I didn't pick it up, but it called 2 more times and then stopped. I didn't think that it was him, but I never pick up unknown calls. Last night, the number texted me, "Hey, it's ex-boyfriend. Can we talk?" I didn't text back, and this morning he showed up at my mum's home when I wasn't there. I texted him back and said, "Yeah, we can talk, but don't just show up at my mum's house. Call or text before you do." We set up a meeting, and when I came, he had a gift bag. This is the convo summed up. He says, "Wow, you look great. You won't even look pregnant." And I said, "I'm not anymore." "What the hell do you mean? Did you get an abortion without telling?" "Nope, I miscarried." "And you didn't think to tell me?" "No. Why would you care?" "Because this is my effing kid too." "Well, you didn't want it." "I do. That's why I came to see you, but whatever, F you." He then left me with a gift bag, and it was baby stuff. I felt really bad. I'm assuming he told his mother because she's called me, going off about how bad of a person I have to be from hiding this from him. And she also insinuated that I'm lying about aborting it. Rub salt in the wounds. I'm hesitant to tell my mum because Lord knows she'll fight that old lady for talking to me crazy, and I don't want any extra drama, but I do feel bad because having a baby is a big deal, and not everyone's ready for it at first, so my thoughts are everywhere all at once. So does anyone here have any opinions? Am I wrong? Or was I valid in how I felt? In the comments, JemmyGem86 says, "Tell your mum since she's the one who cares about you, and block the others." Yes, OP, please tell your mum before the ex's hag of a mother starts spreading lies and spewing hate, because it's gonna happen. Who cares? Let your mum go ham on her. And screw your ex. I bet he's only back because he got pressured from his family. He was trying to get in front of the narrative before he was possibly sued for child support, or his family found out through the channels about the baby. OP says, "Surprisingly though, I never had an issue with his mum until now. To me, she was very polite, so I don't know if she's the type to spread rumors, but I'll definitely be telling my mum. Thank you." He kicked his pregnant girlfriend out and ended the relationship. You later had a miscarriage. I suppose he would have found out regardless when the 9 months are up and he expected to see a child and there wasn't one. I don't think you're wrong for not telling him. Based on your story alone, a lot more obviously happened behind the scenes, and I can't blame you for wanting him out of your life. I think you should tell your mum. Better you than second-hand or another surprise visit to the door. I'm sorry you went through this. Block him, his mum, and anyone else that is causing you issues, and try to move on with the support of your mum. Tell your mum, you deserve to be supported. He didn't want the kid, his mum did. He let it slip, and she probably went gaga over the whole thing. He's mad because he thinks you took control of your situation and liberated yourself. I know that's not the case, but he's obviously upset at the idea of your autonomy. You do not have to justify or prove anything to this stupid woman. You went through something that is really complicated for a bunch of reasons. It takes time to get around it, even if a kid wasn't desired or ideal exactly. I've been there. I never told the person I was pregnant because I found out when I was already miscarrying. I dealt with it my way. If anyone had said something like this shit to me, I would have absolutely put them in their place. Strongly consider going no contact with this man and his whole gaggle of stupid. I hope you have a fantastic life. Back up to the post, there is an edit. Thank you to everyone for giving me their condolences. It means a lot to know that I'm valid in how I feel. I will be telling my mum, as many of you said, and I will donate the baby items. I appreciate everyone trying to help, but please stop commenting by saying, "Be glad the baby is in heaven and you're not tied to them," or anything else. It's really insensitive, especially since my fertility as a whole is at risk with what happened. I don't know if I'll update, but I might if anything else happens. Yeah, you're not wrong at all for not telling him about the miscarriage. Again, he straight up coldly kicked you out and then blocked you on everything and just completely ditched you there. He's a complete piece of shit for that and doesn't deserve any sympathy. I bet he hid it from his mum until the guilt was too overwhelming and he's like, yeah, actually, I got my ex-girlfriend pregnant a while ago and I don't know what to do about it now. I'm not ready to be a father. What do I do, mum? Just absolutely soulless behavior, and then to blame you for having the miscarriage there and the fact that you didn't tell him? If he didn't care before, why should he care now? That's completely up to you, and I know people will disagree with me on that one. But I feel like if he was so comfortable in his little cave of not knowing anything about the baby for so long and being so happy to kick her out, he didn't deserve to know either way. He should have just kept that same energy, but no, he didn't. And now, onto the update. Thank you so much to everyone who gave advice, good or bad. It helped me balance how I was feeling and it meant a lot. I also took almost all of the advice I received. Starting with my mum. I told her about the phone call I received from my ex's mum, who for the sake of confusion, I'll just call Sarah, and I showed her the post. I did ask my mum to not say anything back, but in her words, it's best to not bow down to people like Sarah. When you let them get away with talking crazy once, they're gonna do it again. I really didn't want to talk to Sarah or my ex, so I just let my mum do it. I know it's childish to have my mum fight my battles, but I can't take any more stress right now. My mum understood and texted Sarah. This is the message. Sorry if it's hard to read, I had to try and take out or change the names. Hi Sarah, this is OP's mum. I was just made aware that you made a call to my daughter, called her a liar, and accused her of secretly getting an abortion. First, I want to say that this situation is none of your business, and as a mother, you should know better than to slander a woman who has just lost her child. You of all people should be the last person calling others evil, considering the son you have raised. Were you aware when OP found out she was pregnant, your son decided 3 years was too soon for commitment and told her to leave their apartment? Or do you just not care? We don't owe you an explanation about OP's pregnancy, but I will give you that courtesy and send those hospital reports. But once I do, if you continue to disrespect us, my son and I will be seeing you and yours, I can promise you that. I thought this message would be the end of it because hours went by without any word. They can't reach me because I blocked them, but my mum was waiting for a reply back. Until again, my ex showed up unannounced with his mum this time, which really pissed my mum off. Rightfully so. Sarah said they just wanted to have an adult conversation, but my mum told them to leave and come back later because we were busy. This was a lie. She just wanted to wait until my brother got home just in case. When they came back, Sarah surprisingly made my ex apologize. She was apparently told a different story. Who's surprised? Is anyone surprised? She was told that when we found out that I was pregnant, that my ex was actually really excited and I was the one who didn't want a child. When he told me that abortion was out of the question, I flipped out, left the apartment, and blocked him on everything. Then I contacted him months afterwards asking to meet. He thought I had a change of heart, which was why he bought the baby clothes in order to celebrate. The emphasis on abortion in his story is why Sarah believed that I lied about the miscarriage. I couldn't help but chuckle at this because what a liar that man is. This must have triggered something in Sarah because she started back up saying things like, "But I still feel as though you owe my son an apology because you still pretended like you were pregnant knowing it died. You could have at least told him, but no, you led him on." I had to put the caps on died because she did have a condescending tone in her voice and she put so much emphasis on that word that it pissed me off, but I didn't say anything. I just went to my room. I don't know what happened afterwards. I heard everyone yelling at each other, but I just tried to drown it out. And I can't lie, I just cried until I slept. Sorry to the people who wanted to read about a big rumble, but this is where we are right now. I wish the rumble happened too. She really needs the dentures knocked out of her mouth, but I just wanted to move on now. There is no reasoning with those people. Ending on a good note, I found a women's shelter to donate those baby items to, and I'm probably going to look for a therapist. Again, thank you to everyone who gave me tips on coping or advice on what to do. I didn't expect anything more than 10 people to see this, so thanks to everyone who validated how I felt. It's great to know that you were not the insane one. In the comments, Oddly Appeased says, "How the hell did she come to the conclusion that you still pretended you were pregnant? You agreed to meet him and only told him that you weren't after him commenting that you didn't look pregnant. You're better off just leaving this behind you. You've got a great support system in your mum and brother. Focus on healing so this can become a distant memory." OP says, "I think she was trying to be funny about it or intentionally get a rise out of me, but you're 100% right, thank you. Yes to a good therapist to help you move forward in the most healthy way. Best wishes to you." Thanks for the update. Well, that escalated quickly. I'm glad you just walked away from Sarah the shithead and little rat boy when she said you needed to apologize for leading him on. It sucks that your mum and your brother kept trying to argue with Sarah the shithead. The correct response from your mum would have been, "Ma'am, I don't appreciate you showing up uninvited, but I'm glad we had this conversation. Now, frankly, you're wearing out my patience. You need to leave, as you're starting to bother me. Please get off my front walk and go stand in the street, because that's public property. You can stay there all night if you want, but I wouldn't. You never know who might show up at this time of night. Goodbye, and don't make me ask again." Oh, sweetie, I'm so sorry you've been going through all of this, but I'm glad that you told your mum and she made Sarah aware of what a scumbag lying son she has. Your mum is awesome. Take your time grieving the loss of your baby. Therapy is a good idea. Try to find a therapist who specializes in helping parents who have lost their baby or child. I wish you the very best, and wish for you, down the road, to find a man who deserves you and treats you amazingly as you should be. The mental gymnastics of these people, my goodness. In my 20 years in social services, I've seen mummies defend their precious baby boys against the most disgusting behavior. I don't see it with dads, and I don't see either defending daughters. It's specifically mums and their sons. It drives me nuts. I lost it one day in a meeting when a mum kept calling the violent abuse a misstep. I said, when he pinned her down on the floor, held her hip and knee still, and knelt on her femur until it was broke, that was a misstep? Now I make sure every person in the meeting knows specifics about the allegations, but mums seem to want to believe their sons are perfect. My mother-in-law refuses to admit that my husband has ever done anything wrong, even the most minor stuff, or when he admits to having stuffed up in front of witnesses. She either ignores it or tries to blame me. If it wasn't for the OP's mother and their good relationship, OP would have been homeless. That's not good guy behavior. 4 years from being 30, and he's behaving like a teenager who doesn't understand consequences. Emotionally stunted piece of shit. I hope this relationship opens OP's eyes to be more selective with future partners. Emotionally stunted piece of shit who was raised by Sarah. Yep, values come from parents. OP has her whole life ahead of her, and I'm glad she got to see their colors. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!